welcome to the third and final review of not just the evening, but of 2019 for Fragments of Silicon.
Wow, it's only the third review of 2019.
I'm like, you wish.
Yeah.
I'm like, we do about 3 reviews a week.
I know.
So, anyway, Beautiful Bricks. This game is a block breaker affair. I'm not sure if this genre ever got like a formal name, but you've probably played some iteration of it, especially if the older you are as a gamer. You know, Breakout, Arkanoid, Alleyway. These are some of the names that have been attached to this particular game genre, what have you. Basically, you have a ball, you have a paddle, you have some bricks. You use the ball to break the bricks. But that's just the, universal genre designators, let's call them. Because Beautiful Bricks does attempt to bring some fresh new ideas to the genre. And it does this by doing some pretty obvious things, but maybe not stuff that wasn't you couldn't do back in, say, the 16-bit or 8-bit era.
I see it seems to give your paddle a jump button for some reason.
Yes, you can jump. This may not be the first block break. We're just going to call them block breakers for the sake of simplicity. This might not be the first one of these to do that, but it's an uncommon feature. Usually when you have the paddle, it stays on the level. But yeah, in this game, the paddle can jump. It can even fly with jet boosters. It can dash. And this actually is tied to the gameplay because you can use your paddle to destroy bricks themselves. In fact, that actually comes into play with some of the levels, because some of the levels will flow the blocks downward. And, if the blocks are in range, you can break them, provided they're breakable blocks. The other unique spin that the game provides is the ball itself, because there's more physics going on here than your usual ball breaker affairs. Because when it comes to the usual set of this game, it's one speed, it's one momentum. It's more about it's more about geometry than actual physics. This game actually introduced a loss of momentum and a loss of the angle. Yeah, it's like I've never actually seen that in one of these before. Once again, I can't say that this game invented that, but it is here. Some of the other fresh new ideas that this game is bringing to the table, I couldn't try out because this game has up to 4 simultaneous players. Once again,
which I'm sure is not distracting at all, having 4 people playing on the same field with different color balls and paddles.
It's probably busy as fuck, but once again, we only got the one code. Granted, this game was cheaper, but nobody felt like spending $8 on it.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. It's also, this game has local multiplayer support, but apparently does support the new remote play together feature. Let's see. Some of the other, differentials in this particular game is the ball routes aren't static. You might get different levels via different playthroughs. So it's got that going. Some of the powers are interesting, and will maybe affect the physics a bit. But, it's like, in spite of all of the interesting tricks, gimmicks, and whatnot that this game brings to the table, it's still at the end of the day Breakout. That's not a bad thing, but it's not divoting away from the core conceit, which is fine. In fact, it's more than fine because honestly, not enough of these kind of games are being made these days.
I mean, to some extent, there's only so much innovating that that you can really do. But on the other hand, it's good to have games with this general. Also, I'm seeing boss fights.
Yeah, but there are boss fights. Once again, that's nothing particularly new. Like boss fights go back to fucking Arkanoid. Like fighting against Doe. Swear to God, that is the big bad's name in fucking Arkanoid. Like, I will say I also lament the fact that I don't have a paddle controller. I don't know if they even make paddle controllers for the PC, because I will tell you right now, the radial dial is the best way to control these kind of games. Like,
I wonder if that's still the case when you have a jump button and various other power-ups.
Probably. I'm like, I will say the game plays fine with a mouse. You don't get. It's not so much you don't get the accuracy. It's just a mouse. A mouse is twitchier because it's reading more of your hand movements. This is also not a game I like playing for a long stretch of time. An hour, maybe a half an hour. After that, my hand starts cramping. Anyway, this game is fine. It's at $8, maybe a bit on the expensive side. There's a couple other ball breakers I'd recommend over this, like Whiz Orb or Shatter. But still, solid 7 out of 10 game. It's not so much that I don't have a lot to say about this game. It's one of those games where there's not a lot to say, because once again, this is one of the oldest genres out there. Going back to the, maybe not Primordia, but like the dawn of video gaming. So it's a pretty simple affair. All right. So on that note, that'll about do it for the Fragments of Silicon reviews for the year. We hope you enjoyed them. And we look forward to starting the new year out with some Shovel Knight. But more on that on Wednesday. And indeed, coming up on Wednesday, December 18th, final proper show of the year. As far as doing stuff during the holidays, I assume Final Fantasy XIV is still going to be there. We might do some other stuff. We might not. We haven't really talked about it. Anyway, coming up on our final show of the year, Chris Park of Arson Games. They are the developers of the AI War series, it's a RTS grand strategy hybrid. I mean, I've had the original game for like ever, and it's just one of those things I've never gotten to. But we'll be talking about the recently released sequel, AI War 2. So until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.